Ladies and gentlemen, we are live. PSR is excited to present to you Last Call, featuring your boy, the pimp slap POD, Mike M.
Pimpin' ain't easy, but it's fun like money. Got bookies on the run, now it's time to get money. Not your typical way to ball. It's last call like some convicts waiting on the next draw. You can feel the tension. Did I mention? Fools better pay attention, cause we getting paid like a pension. T's on the ones and twos, we not the ones that lose. Mike, money's killers, Mike even make the evening news.
And now, let's get to the picks.
We be pumping! Buzz Force Radio, you know we be pumping!
What up? Welcome into Last Call. Here we go, the bridge to the weekend. It's Thursday, February 22nd, and you know what that means. Our Thursday resident, Miggity Connor Mack's going to come in here and join us to navigate the college and NBA hardwood with us tonight here. Welcome back, NBA. What a card. What a lot of work goes into this thing here. You know, you only take a couple of nights off of the NBA and, you know, you realize, wow, when they give you a monster card like that, you got a big NHL card and a huge college basketball card. It's a lot of work. No lie. But we've got some great spots here. We're going to be cautious here. I was just saying to my guy T, shout out T there, rocking the ones and twos, getting it all right with us. I said, we got to be a little more evaluative here, a little more careful, a little more cautious with the NBA in the second half. It's been the anchor and dragging us down here. So want to make sure that we do a better job of just making sure all boxes are checked here. All lights say go before we start trying to blow through those red lights here and trying to get there. So we got to get that cash in our pockets. Lots of work to do here. We've got a terrific card on deck tonight. I appreciate everybody rocking with us here at Last Call. Hit that thumbs up button. Show the support. We're trying to crack the code that is this 6 o'clock market. And you know everybody's thumbs up is equally important here. Let's go hit that thumbs up if you haven't done so already. Shout out Pub Sports Radio here. We're going to have ourselves a glorious weekend. And it starts tonight. It starts right here, ready to get going with you guys. Everybody dropping in, hanging out here. Appreciate that. Coming in early, just getting out of work on your way home, figuring out what you're going to do for dinner, figuring out the cocktails. We're going to figure out the sports card tonight. We've got a glorious NHL card. I promised you guys the first 2 unit show banger, and we indeed do have that. We've got a college basketball card. We're going to be led by Connor Mack in college basketball. We've got 3 NBA plays and an NBA parlay. We got an NHL parlay, too. This is lit up. We're going to go for the glory tonight. I cannot wait. In honor of the 44th anniversary of Team USA, getting the gold as a plus 700 underdog to the USSR. We're going for the gold tonight in memory here of what Team USA did 44 years ago in a little town called Lake Placid, New York. Let's see if we can't get going here. Everybody's dropping in, and we do appreciate that. I see our guy Joe T in the house says, hey, Mike M, let's get this cash. My best bet, St. Thomas, North Dakota State over 137. Appreciate that, Joe T. I know you take your time and pride in what you're doing out there, and we'd love to see you back sharing them looks to cook the books, baby. North Dakota State over 137. Brian Watson's in here. He's ready to go. He says, I'm here. There's winners coming. Let's go, my guy. Brian Watson, appreciate you dropping in. Ian Shaver in the house. Get green or we gonna poke you. Let's go, Ian Shaver. Justin McKelvey's in the house there. He likes the stacks POD on man over 23.5 points, rebounds, and assists at even money. And he's even kind enough to tell you he plays for the Hornets. Let's go, my guy, Justin. Appreciate that. J Stone 9. There's J Stone 9. Here's the J Stone 9 special. He likes the Carolina first period money line minus 125. And he's going for the half a goal, laying that half out there for a plus 170. Good luck to you, J Stone, my guy. I know that's something you've been texting back and forth about. I'm excited to break that down and see how that evaluates and evolves here tonight with us. Good luck to you, my guy. Thank you for sharing. Ian Shaver says, Justin McKelvey, what's up, my guy? Patrick Burns in the house. Likes that La Tech minus 3.5. Says, let's roll. I got to be honest. That one made a cut for me. I was leaning on the other side of that one, but it just seemed like the points are funky in that thing, Patrick Burns. So I'm going to wish you the best of luck. It did not make my card. AOD says, Mike M, our brother. Good to see you, AOD. Rocco Rogers, Subhuman Gaucho. Let's go out there and, of course, hit that thumbs up for your boy here. We're doing this stuff on the regular. We need your help to get it promoted and crack this code that is YouTube and their cesspool that is the 6 o'clock window. A lot of guys out there throwing picks and telling you, I kind of like this, I feel like that. We're digging into the weeds. You guys know this is the only show that breaks it down. Cash flow, money analytics, trends, angles, injury factors, all of it rolled into one to try to give you guys the best bets for the night here. Our best bets, our plays. We don't ask you for anything but a thumbs up, and it means a ton. So let's roll. Ian Shaber says, Justin, Miami made my shit list. You took it personal. Let's go. Well, Justin runs hot, man. Justin runs hot. He's gotten salty at me a few times too. So, but he's a good guy. He always comes back with a smile, and that's what we appreciate out of our guy. I hope you had a good time at the game the other night. And let's go. Brian Watson says Bruins got me. Yeah, that was quite the game, wasn't it? Subhuman Gaucho says, like the Wings got in early. Also used the DK boost that they offered on that game. Kane point Wings plus a half a goal in the first period. Wings team total over 1.5 at plus 246 with the boost. That's our guy using got to take advantage of those things. We've talked about it before, and we will continue to roll with those. We appreciate you sharing that. Subhuman Gaucho. We'll drop that on the big screen as we get rolling. Morgan Spooner says, I'm loving a lot of the college card. Put together a fun money line parlay. Grand Canyon, Vermont, Seattle, Bellarmine, Morehead State, and Northeastern. I know a couple of those games will make the big screen tonight as we talk about those with our guy, Miggett and Matt coming in here. And it's a plus 575 for our guy. So we will get that on the screen as well. Let's roll. Jay Smooth, the Smooth Balls POD. Got to keep him smooth, baby. He likes Towson at -6. And look at Jay Stone says, pumping on some Super Bowl. Let's go. Super Bowl. I can't tell if that's an L or an F, but that's okay. Let's keep rolling. Let's go here. Fletcher Berry's in the house. He's ready to go. Can't wait to get into the card with you guys. Coins out there ready. Got some North Colorado over 147 in his pocket. There's RBD 420. Need to make some money tonight. Of course, man. Is there ever a better night than right tonight to get this cash out there? Matt Complex, how you feel about that Charleston spot? I love Charleston, Matt. Good to see you in the chat as well. Let's keep rolling. Sharon Pulliam's in the house. Good to see him in here. And Donovan Mitchell officially ruled out, says our guy Teed. Is there anything better than this guy rocking, keeping it tight and right, sharing injury updates on the fly with everybody, making sure we know what we're getting into as we cash these games here. Justin Villegas likes the Rangers money line. And Jay Peasy says, what up, Pip? What up, Jay Peasy? Shout out to our guy, Ian Shaber, gifting a Pub Sports Radio membership, helping you guys get into the inner circle here. You guys know the deal with these Pub Sports Radio memberships. We got to show the appreciation. These guys come in, they give you hard looks, and they give you their cash and helping us grow the community one member at a time. Ian Shaber, you're a homie, man. You're one of the OGs. You're down from day one. We appreciate what you're doing, helping us grow this army, this nation that is Pub Sports Radio, baby. We appreciate you and all you do for us day in and day out across all the channels, all the mediums that we have here, all the content that's being delivered by Pub Sports. You're always there. And I know a number of you guys and gals are as well. So we appreciate all that. It's not lost on any of us when you guys come in here and you make your contributions, whether they be plays, picks, members, anything else like that. And there's our guy, Ricky Bobby says, Luca Evangelista goal plus 450, I think. And it's his birthday. Oh, he thinks it's his birthday. Well, I'll write that one down. I always love to look at those birthday angles out there. And I believe it was Mel was saying JT Comp here is the best look on the card. So I'm curious how the best look on the card is an anytime goal scorer. I wanted to mention that earlier. Hopefully Mel will come in and clarify for us exactly why that was the best look in the card. I think it was Mel. Pretty sure it was Mel. Let's roll. Swiss Horton in the house. Need a safe CBB 3-leg parlay. Don't we all, my guy? Don't we all? It's all about that. Subhuman says, I do like a birthday goal bet, right? I mean, the boys are razzing him in the locker room. They're telling him they're going to hook him up. Like, you got to feel like it's a good opportunity to pull the trigger on a guy when it's his birthday. And Rocco Rogers says the Compier point -110, Compier goal plus 360 with Mel on that. I'm curious why that's the of all the card that's in the NHL, and I'm not doubting that's the case. I'm going to watch you guys cash this thing with glory, but of all the games on the card, I'm curious why that is one of the best bets. But you guys can share with us that information and continue to put that stuff in the chat here. Ice Viking, damn, those Ducks came back to tie it up. I know. And of course they tied it up, so they sucked me in for another live bet. Anyhow, let's go. Big Scott 510, Minnesota money line for 1 leg Swiss. There we go. Our guy Big Scott giving out one of the legs for the parlay there. I'm not mad at that play. and Bo Jackson. NHL been janky the last couple of weeks, the last couple of days for me, but we're gonna step into this thing. We're gonna embrace it. We did the homework. Everything's lining up. All signs point to go. And I'm excited about getting into the card here, but you guys know the deal. We got to go through the recap. We got to be transparent. Not our best day, but that doesn't mean we can't move forward and try to get that smash and cash today. In the meantime, though, guys, hit that thumbs up. You know, we ask you to do 3 things on the last call. Hit the thumbs up, show the support, help us crack the code, and let them know we're here doing this thing and you support what we're doing. 2, grab a pen and paper, not just for what I'm dropping out on you guys in our panel, but the chat is oh so sharp, baby, giving out them looks. Everyone's trying to cook the books, looking at this thing the same way. And you're going to want to make sure you scribble down those plays so that as the night evolves and you're looking for some late night action, some mid-afternoon action, whatever the case may be, you got it right there. You heard it on last call. And last but not least, throw your plays in the chat. We want to recognize everything you guys are doing on the regular. Your hard work is not lost on the contributions you make. It's one thing to show up. It's another thing to come in and put your name on the line with what you think is one of the best looks to cook the books. And we do so appreciate that. Speaking of which, Juggler23 says, my plays, Thunder -1, Mavs and Suns under 245.5, and the Wizards plus 15.5. Pete's got 510. Digging into this baseball situation here, preseason baseball, spring training. He's got the Dodgers. Says Dodgers put up a 14 spot on San Diego. The fathers out there. I can't wait for the baseball season. We're going to have all kinds of props, all kinds of plays, all kinds of parlay. We're going to do round robins. It's going to be popping this year for baseball. I'm excited. Baseball was my best season last year, and it was just one simple addition. Got out of the comfort zone and started leveraging some of these props. I've got some great tools and analytics to get there, and I can't wait to share that with you guys. But what a great time to be a sports fan. We got a full card tonight. We got to get in. We got a lot of work to do. Let's get this thing rolling here. Let's get moving, and we will continue to recognize the plays you guys are dropping in the chat. Look, it was a 2-5 night last night. It sucked. Didn't feel good at all. Buffalo came back and won the game 3-2. The only positive about that was I was with them boys, Dabby and Dutch, on All About the Hoops. And we were able to get this Buffalo Sabres at a plus 145. So took a little of the sting out there, but that was a win. We proceeded to get fired off on losses. Philly goes up 3-1. Chicago can't do anything to score back. The over ended up being toast. It was under. We just talked about that Anaheim game, and then Edmonton and Boston. Yikes, that sucked. You know, don't like to go 1-3 in our best sport, but it is what it is. Then we followed it up with a nice 1-2 in college basketball. Bama. Hey, again, all about them hoops. We got them live -110 and +110 on the money lines as they were down at the end of that game. But the -9.5 was a loss. Wofford, you know, detriment of this game and this thing that we do here with last call. The line moved up. I love the movement. Everything was correlated. I got it earlier in the day at 145. I endorsed it at 146.5. It ends at 146. That was a tight ass line there to come in right between the numbers. We're going to take an official L for show purposes. I don't know why that was a tongue twister, but hey, I was happy at the end of the night. We got that UNLV spot, and you know, it's funny. I was sitting there, and everyone was talking about Air Force's automatic overs. The fucking game goes under. How about that? What up? We nailed that thing like a split hog, as they say there. We crushed that under in that game. We got that UNLV as well. So hopefully you guys were able to tail some of those, and we mitigate them losses here. Let's see what we got going on here. Rocco Rogers says, plays second line. Okay, here's talking about the computer spot. Plays second line, top power play for the Red Wings. Played his whole career in college. So you guys are looking at the revenge angle. I like it. That makes a ton of sense now. I get it. Fully in there. I think Detroit's a good live look in this game, too, or a good live dog. So Jared TG likes the Rangers, the Blues, and sprinkle the draw. All I got right now. Hope to hit some live bets on the later games of Panthers or Canes score early, hopping on the under. Dominic Morrow, good to see you in the chat, says Ottawa plus 142. Deshaun G likes the Jared McCann anytime goal scorer at plus 280. He's been hot. Jared McCann's definitely been firing goals in there. And Kelly V in the house is under, and Purdue trends something like 47-0 to the under at home versus non-ranked team. Wow, that's a trend right there. We'll take a look at that. NHL, Ottawa plus 140 money line as Dallas been long-ass road trip. And Rocco Rogers says, that's why I went with the team total over with the Ducks, Mike. Can't trust them defensively. Yeah, that sucked. That sucked. Matt Complex says, I love the UL Little Rock game out there. We're going to talk about that game. And then Juggler23 says, revenge, Thunder, 14-4 against the spread spot there. Love to hear that. Let's go. Let's keep rolling here. Let's go into this thing and talk about this card that we have tonight. Look, loaded up the NHL. We got to get moving. We got our boy C-Mac going to be rolling in here shortly to talk college hoops. But it's a meaty NHL card. And guess what? I'm not sorry about it. I'm ready to kick some ass and take some names in this hockey card here tonight. And we're going to open it right up at the top of the hop. We got this, look, the Avalanche in Colorado, the Avalanche and Red Wings games, not something I'm getting involved with. Just not going to get in there and touch it. I think Detroit's a good live dog at home in this spot here. I've seen contradictory numbers on both sides of the house for me. I just can't get there. I can't pull the trigger. It's not going to get any of my cash tonight. But game number 2, we got a meaty 7 o'clock window, so we got to get rolling. We got some 7 o'clock NBA games as well, so lot to get through. Let's dive into this card and let's get firing here. We're opening up the NHL action tonight, lacing the skates up and skating on down south to Capitals versus Tampa Bay. Capitals going back to Lindgren in goal out here, 11-8-4. Vasilevsky getting his 6th start. He's not been doing well, 10 goals in his last 2 games combined, but he is 19-13 on the season, 294 goals against average, 89.8 save percentage. And look, tough spot, right? We know the Capitals have been out there producing. Lindgren of all guys here, 37 of 39 saves, gets a 6-2 win against New Jersey. Washington somehow, old man time aside, is on a 2-game winning streak, and there's something to be said about these teams. They're not going to lose forever, despite how bad they may be. And Washington, in this case, is starting to string together those wins. But I think it ends tonight. I'm pretty confident that we're going to see this thing go down here. Washington's one of the lowest scoring teams. Actually, they are the lowest scoring team in the NHL with a 2.48 goals against average. And we got a real simple one here, real simple numbers to go by. We're going to keep a brisk pace on this thing tonight. So get ready, strap it in. We're going to get moving here. The home team, when they're playing an opponent off a W within the conference, as long as it's between minus 140 and minus 200, is 20-9 in those spots, winning by a goal and a half on average out there. When you move it to, it's 22-4 if the opponent was on their home ice that last game, now taking to the road. So 20-9 moves to 22-4 if they're away off a win in the Metro Division. They're 11-45. There's 2 plays on for Tampa, 1 play against the Washington Capitals, and all of those are 1.5 to 1.8 goals margin in those spots. So I'm going to open the card up here. We're going to rock with this Tampa game. Tampa Bay -1, -130 to get this juice going here. And you guys know there is a there is a -1 calculator that I know our guy Ron Crawford has put together. We can get that out to you guys as well. Pretty simple formula if you're new to the NHL betting window there. Look, if you're going to bet the money line, the amount that you wager on the money line, not the amount you win, but the amount you wager, has to be the amount you win on the puck line, if that makes sense, right? So that's kind of how you come up with the -1. That way, if they don't get the 2-goal lead and it only ends up being 1, you're still going to win your money line, but you'll lose the 1.5. And that's essentially how you come up with where that -1.5 is. So sounds easier in some cases than it is. Make sure you shop around. Lots of books do have the -1 built in, but I find if you build it yourself, you get better odds. So we can certainly help anybody out with the -1 calculator, because it is -1 season now. As we move past the All-Star break, NHL is going to start to heat up. We're going to start to see the separation between the good and the bad. And Justin McKelvey says he likes the Lightning at regulation at -118. Yeah, it's not a bad look either. I mean, kind of thought if it goes to overtime and I have still the opportunity to stay alive. I've been doing more -1 plays this year than in previous there. I used to be the regulation guy, but kind of like that option for the push if it comes down to it. And I'm not afraid to pay the 12 cents on it when it comes down to it. JPZ says, if Tampa Bay loses tonight, I'm going to start calling him Andre Novasilinski out there. Let's go. Let's roll on to game number 2. We got the New York Rangers and the New Jersey Devils kicking this thing off, guys. I'm going to move fast because we do have to get to this NBA. Meat of the card for me in the NBA starts at 7 o'clock, so we want to keep it rolling. We've got Shesterkin in goal for the New York Rangers. He's 23-12-1. And it looks like, as of recent confirmation here, it's Nico Dawes, 6-7. I haven't seen the official, but we know New Jersey does have goaltending struggles right now. The Rangers 2.79 with Shesterkin, 90.4%. Excited that it's Shesterkin going back in. I told you before they mind screwed him a little bit and got him the get right spot after they threw Quick in net there. They put him out there against, I forgot the team now at this point, but it was a team that wasn't scoring, was on a losing streak, and he was able to build his confidence back up and start to roll. And speaking of rolling, the Rangers are on an 8-game winning streak right now, trying to keep it moving here. We've got them facing a Devils team with Dawes, 3.18 goals against average for Dawes. Definitely not anything that you want to write home about. And, again, it doesn't matter whichever guy they go to. It's bad and worse is what it comes down to. New Jersey's lost 2 of their last 3. And, they're kind of middle of the they're a little bit better than middle of the pack. They're 10th in goals and they're 10th in shooting. It's their goaltending that continues to remain a problem for this team here. Nico Dawes or whoever won't make a difference. We're going to go real simply put with this one. We got a red-hot Rangers team firing right now. And look, road teams off a win and an under that are lined to a minus 200 in the East are 43-13. They're showing dominance at 43-13, 1.21 goal margin out there. We're getting the Rangers at a steal here at minus 105. So I'm jumping in. We also have a Rangers rematch spot. This is the Rangers when they played it. I call it kind of daddy owns you, right? Daddy owns you trend is what we'll call this one. The Rangers in a rematch against the team they hit 20 or more times the last time out. They're 18-2. That's a new one that we're busting out here, but it's an 18-2 trend specific to the Rangers. After the daddy owns you and the Rangers kick your ass all over the ice, you're 18-2 in the rematch. Just shows they're more physical, they're more abusive, there's more brute force strength, and we got this Rangers on this hot run streak right now. We're going to keep rolling with them. Robert Martin says, love the daddy owns you aspect. We're going to try that one out tonight. It's 18-2 for the Rangers, and we got them at a minus 105. Let's roll on. Game number 3 in the NHL. We've got the Islanders and the St. Louis Blues. We've got Varlamov finally getting a start for the New York Islanders at 6-6-3. We've got Jordan Binnington at 19-15-2. Jordan Binnington's kind of a dirtbag. I still don't know if you guys saw that dirty butt end he threw out there that last game or not. But anyhow, that's a side note. Varlamov, 2.9 goals against average, 91.2 save percentage. Binnington, 2.93 goals against average, 90.8% save percentage. Coin flip for a game. I can see the Islanders getting this job done here. They came back against Pittsburgh in overtime. This is now their 3rd game. They had back-to-back overtimes, though. And I just didn't want to ultimately have to pull the trigger on the Islanders. The direction I went with this game is the under. Both these goaltenders kind of have something to prove. Varlamov's trying to get his shit back together. It's his first start in 6 games. He's been 0-3-2 over his last 7, and he's let up 3 goals or more in each of those games. Binnington, on the other hand, he's got 2 wins in his last 5 starts. So he's not out there killing it. He's not out there slaying the dragon, but he has been stopping the puck. I mentioned his 90.8 save percentage. He's allowed 3 or less goals in 4 of his last 5 games. That's good for a 91.6% save percentage. So his performance or his prowess between the twine there and between the pipes is showing it's kind of a buy sign for the goaltending ability for this Binnington cat, who kind of started off the season in a struggle. The numbers I'm looking at here, road teams on a Thursday after a posse of teams, including Detroit, Pittsburgh, Toronto, Seattle, and Carolina, are 3-21 to the under. Ultimately, as I broke that one down, it's the lack of scoring that this road team takes. And I just talked about the back-to-back overtime situations for Islanders. At some point, you got to run out of the magic and you just kind of get gassed. Now, they're not necessarily a team that's been known to let a ton of goals get in there, albeit the last 2 games we've kind of seen the asterisk on that statement. They do try to play a defensive-oriented game, and I think that's the key to this game here against St. Louis. St. Louis isn't a high-scoring, offensive team either, so we kind of have 2 slower-paced, want to control possession of the puck teams that do have some strength in goaltending, albeit Varlamov is not on his game right now. We need him to step his ass up, and if he doesn't, then lose 4-1 so that we can cover our under 6.5, and it's a minus 120 spot. So no goals or low scoring in this game for me will be the 3rd official play on the hockey card. Still got plenty of hockey to go. Let's keep rolling, you guys. Let's see what we have in the chat. We got 8:30. Director 97 says UT Martin -9, Minnesota -3.5, Tarleton +5.5, and Rocco Rogers likes the Blues. I could see that. Robert Martin says Islanders hot as of late, beating the New York Rangers last time out. Yeah, I mean, that was an outdoor game, right? But then they played the Penguins, right? And they beat the Penguins in overtime. So tricky spot for those guys. Tricky little spot there. Rocco says they lost to the Rangers. Yeah, they did. I'm sorry, they did lose to the Rangers in overtime, right? That was kind of that shit goal that took place at the end of the game where the net came off the mooring and it still bounced off the goaltender and knocked into the net. Justin says Blues money line. Yeah, I'm just going to go with the total on that one, boys and girls. We're just going to rock the under. I know JPZ likes them under, so I want to give the man what he wants here. We're going to go with an under in the 6.5. And we're going to move on to the next game. We're going to go out west. Here is the 2-unit special. 2-unit special. First time ever on the show. I wish we had the horns. I wish we could do that, but I'm glad we can't. So let's go here. We got this Boston and Calgary game. We've got Allmark at 16-6-4. We've got Markstrom at 18-15-2. We got a 2.72 goals against average for Allmark at 91.3%. We've got Markstrom at 2.6 with a 91.3% save percentage out there. And look, Markstrom getting the nod for Calgary's big for a lower scoring game. He's allowed 3 or fewer goals in 6 of his last 7. We do know he last played them Jets. He got a 6-3 win. Weird spot. It was a Jets angle and an under angle. And somehow yet Calgary came out on top with an over spot there, 28-31. We're going to double rock this one here. We got a great opportunity. We've got the revenge angle, the best angle in the NHL. When you're on the road as a favorite, you just lost to him, or you lost to him in the same season as a home favorite. 537 and 278. That has continued to be good to us. That revenge angle is angle number 1 for this game. Angle number 2, when you're home off a home dog and you're playing Boston, Minnesota, or St. Louis, you're 71 and 151 in those spots there. Boston Bruins going to be the first 2-unit special. There's a litany of trends that point to Boston, a road team in the favorite spot, the revenge angle, and there's a ton of them that say fade Calgary tonight. I get it. I've heard some people talking about Calgary all day. It's the second leg of a back-to-back, but look, Boston's been playing below their expectations right now. They're finding a way to start to string together some wins, but this team is dangerous. I think this is a team that kind of started off rough, in a position now to keep things rolling. And I'm not excited about what I've seen out of Calgary. The fact is Calgary 26-25-5. That's a 500 team. I get it. You want to get advantage where you can, and you think this second leg situation is an issue. But besides that Winnipeg win, which was kind of an anomaly, they lost to Detroit 5-0. They lost to San Jose on their home ice 6-3. And they lost to the Rangers at Eastern Atlantic Conference team 2-0 out there. So this team hasn't been scoring at will, albeit that Winnipeg game was certainly kind of them breaking through. On the other side of things, we got back-to-back wins for Boston, starting to get in their groove. They lost 3-2 to Tampa at home. They lost 4-1 to Seattle. We were all over that Seattle spot because we knew Seattle kind of has Boston's number. Then they lost 5-4 to the Kings. Now, the Kings have started to turn things around, but they handled Dallas 4-3. They handled Edmonton on the road just the other day, just yesterday, as we talked about, 6-5. It was the way they won that game that lit this one up for me here. So the first ever 2-unit show play, we're going to rock this thing down, and we're going with the Boston Bruins here. I love this Bruins spot, up and down, top to bottom, left to right, and we're going to move forward and keep it rolling here. Nasty Nate, I know you like that. He says Bruins Celtics moneyline parlay. JPZ says betting on or against Boston has been dangerous for my bankroll. Well, you guys got to do what works for you. But for me, this is going to be a double up spot here. I'm just going to bang them Bruins and hope that they kick the shit out of Calgary tonight. More than hope. I think it's all signs pointing to it. I know the injury factors, but guess what? If it is injuries with these defensemen, the first game that you're minus a McAvoy, your star defender, you play on those teams because somebody steps up and fills the gap anyway. So injuries be damned. We're going with this Boston Bruins. I promised you guys a 2-unit special. Let's roll on here. We've got one more hockey game, and then I've got a parlay in the NHL for you as well. We're going to close out the card on the West Coast. We're going to look at this Toronto and Las Vegas game. Emotions were running high in Toronto in that Arizona game yesterday. We talked about it. Should have played it. Should have played that. Austin Matthews gets number 50, and Toronto gets the win. But we do have the unrested road dog situation, or I guess the unrested team in this spot here. We've got them playing the Las Vegas Knights here, where they do play their best hockey at home. We've got Martin Jones projected starter for Toronto, 10-7-1. Makes sense. They just had Samsonov in goal yesterday, right? The other side of things, we've got Aiden Hill, the Knights' best goaltender, Aiden Hill at 14-5-2. And look, Jones, 269, 90.8, serviceable backup. There's that term. Aiden Hill, 2.15 goals against average, 92.9% save percentage. and ready to roll out here, in my opinion here. Hill, third straight start. He's gotten, 3 or more goals in 4 straight games. He has not been playing his best defense. That's the first time on the season he's not been playing his best goal. And we've got Toronto on a 5-game win streak. So it's a dangerous, shifty little spot. But here's the situation. Between the unrest, you want to quantify the unrested teams up to a minus 200 here. When you've got the unrested team in your barn and you're going up to a minus 200, you're 458 and 212. That's the second best trend in the NHL this season that I've been tracking. We got the revenge spot that's been oh so good to us. We've got the unrested team situation. As dominant as that one's been, it just took an out. So dominant trend. I'm going to go back to it here. We also have the Western home team versus an East team that's when the East team out there off a loss at a 6 here. When the team's off a loss at a 6 is 11-3. I butchered that one up, but it's the way I wrote it down. So believe you and me, this is a Vegas Golden Knights spot at 11-3. Western home team against the East. Good opportunity to get the job done. I just want to double check one thing in this spot. A lot of games that I like tonight too. Ultimately, I thought that this was the best opportunity for us to get to this cash with this big card, and we've got college basketball to boot. So yeah, there it was. The Western home team going against an East opponent when they're off a loss. So the Western team was off a loss. I should have wrote that better. It's pretty much what they're calling that is a bounce back spot if you're a West team playing the East, and it's 11-3 in that spot. So give me the fade of the unrested team. Give me the Western home favorite off a loss in a bounce back position at 11-3. Rocco Rogers says strong lean to the Vegas money line. Might bet it soon here. And here we go. We've got college basketball to get to. Made some good time. Fired off a big card. Before we do, I just need to double check one thing here. I've got to make sure our boy is rolling around the corner. I did not send him a link, but he typically doesn't need a link. He typically invites himself in there. So let me just double check and make sure he's ready to roll. And we will continue to move forward. I will send him this link on the fly. We're doing it all, boys and girls. Tonight is the night we're going to capitalize here. Ronnie Crawford in the house. There he is. I was just talking about your -1 calculator, Ron Crawford. Appreciate you, my guy. It's great to see you. Thank you for stopping in. Thank everybody for stopping in. Smash that thumbs up, and let's keep it rolling tonight. Look, last play for you guys in the NHL. I got a parlay. That I absolutely love tonight, and it's a nice little +2. I want to say it was +280. Let me just double check the numbers that I got it at. 285 parlay tonight, +285 parlay tonight. It's a little 3-teamer. It's a little tri-banger here. We've got Dallas. We've got Pittsburgh. We've got the LA Kings. I heard somebody talking about the Dallas situation with this long road trip. This is a spot where Dallas steps up. Dallas is in a 5-0 situation when they're on the road with no rest off a loss in this spot. So we've got a Dallas team when they've got a streak of -2 games or more, meaning that they've lost 2 or more games, and they had more than 40 shots on goal the previous game on the road. They're 53-27. Dallas on the road off a loss is 21-8. Dallas is the first leg of the parlay. We've got Ottinger as the expected goaltender out there against Winnipeg. Leg number 2, I'll tell you what, leg number 2 almost became a -1.5 spot for me. I know the Penguins have been losing in this spot here, but they're a big favorite for a reason. This isn't one of those spots where you just want to auto fade the big favorite. When the Pens are up to a -200 to a -240, and they're off a margin where the game was a 1-goal game or they lost, 5-0 for those Penguins in that spot. They're winning those games by 2.25 goals on a pop. You could even take a -2, but the -1.5 was like right around +105 or so. I wanted to throw them in there as the second leg of the parlay. And there we go. Ron Crawford's talking about it, the spreadsheet play of the day. I got the LA Kings as the third leg to round this thing out here. The LA Kings in a rematch off a win and an under as a favorite are 38-19. So the LA Kings spot out there for a 38-19. That's as quickly as I could roll through that thing to give you guys those 3 legs out there. But we've got this Dallas bounce back road streaking loss spot. We've got Pittsburgh as a good priced favorite in a 5-0 position. And then we've got the Kings in a rematch off a win and an under spot as well. And that's a +285 spot out there. There are boosts. So you can play probably a little less juice or a little less cash, but you can still juice those things. So by all means, go get it. And there's our guy, Ron, sharing his spreadsheet play of the day in the NBA. He likes the Washington Wizards. Ron, I love to hear that. They've been a buy-on team for me. So love to see that. Dallas been on the road trip. That was me. Okay. Fading Dallas tonight and the next game as well. It's okay to disagree. Yeah, it is. It's okay to disagree. We'll see what happens. I need to get this cash though, Kelly. So, I hope that, I hope we can disagree, but still come back as friends if the Penguins get this one done. I'm sure we will. I'm just kidding. Let's roll on though. Let's talk about college basketball next up here. We'll get our boy in here. Apparently when he feels good and ready for it. But in the meantime, our guy Ron Crawford sharing his spreadsheet play of the day for college basketball. He likes that North Kentucky spot. Let's roll into college hoops here. Look, I fired off a pretty meaty card for Jimmy the Bag earlier today, and I like to keep it fresh. We've got different information that's come to the table and different information I'm going to utilize to make these plays tonight. I'm looking at the 7 p.m. Eastern start. We've got about 25 minutes to tip off in this game, and I'm doing it. I'm rolling up here, and we're going to take this FAU pack here. Florida Atlantic against SMU Southern Methodist. Going to get their britches beaten here tonight. This game opened at 4.5. It's moved to 6.5. We got 51% of the bets and 62% of the cash on Florida Atlantic. The total's moving up, which is kind of an interesting move because it's 151.5 open, sitting at 153.5. So we've had 2 points of movement on the total. 56% of the bets and 53% of the cash on the under. Big opportunity, though. You look at the money line. Of course, it's moving in the Florida Atlantic direction. Nobody's looking at this opportunity, and I am. I'm looking at fading this team. The SMU team has been so red hot. They've been firing away. They're killing it against the spread. I think they're the number one spread team in the conference here. In the country. They're coming off this Memphis win 106-79, a Tulane win 87-79 on the road. They beat North Texas 71-68. There was a non-cover though in the spot here, and I feel like sometimes you just run out of gas. I love the coming back home situation. You've heard me talk about this before. They lost 90-86 on the road to USF there, South Florida. And our guy is just getting some bets in. That's what we have to do at last call, baby. You got to get them in before they start. I'm looking at this FAU team off this South Florida spot, 90-86 loss, coming back home. They got to be fired up and ready to roll in this spot here. And that I think they do. We've got the correlated line movement that we're looking for. And when you look at this Florida Atlantic team, their last games are Memphis and Tulane. Some big spots. Memphis, okay. But this is a must-win situation for these guys to be able to hang in there and try to ascend that leaderboard right now. They are sitting in second. They are tied with SMU for second place in the conference right now. Both teams sitting at 10-3. But look at this line. Look at this SMU team. SMU has won 6 in a row. We're going to fade them as a favorite here at home with Florida Atlantic -6.5 to open up our college basketball card tonight. Con Clip says, women's basketball, I'm on Iowa -4.5 over my hometown Hoosiers. That might be a show first, Con Clips. I'm going to write that down. Because I don't think I've seen anybody share any women's basketball plays out there. Love to see it. We could always love a little more action and get on that stuff there. So Kelly says, friends for life. Appreciate that. Let's go, you guys. Let's keep it moving while we wait for our boy here. I'm going to move on down to the Ohio Valley Conference here. We've been talking for the last week or two about revenge spots, rematch spots. The difference, obviously, you're in a rematch if you beat that team previously. You're in a revenge if you lost to them prior to that. But I'm moving on down the line to this Tennessee Martin Lindenwood game here. I know our boy C-Mac's got 3 college games he wants to dig into. As soon as he's ready to roll, we will roll. But in the meantime, we're going to change gears a little bit here. We're going to go to the Ohio Valley, and I believe we've got an 8 o'clock start. Let me just double check. We're getting there. A lot of games today, a lot of games. The worst part is if you pass it, then you got to go back and try to find it again, and that's when things get frustrating. There it is, 8:30 start, Tennessee Martin versus Lindenwood. Here we go. This line opened at 7.5. It's moving in the favorites direction. The road favorite, Tennessee Martin, to 8.5. 79% of the bets and 90% of the cash on Tennessee Martin. It's moved a point in their direction. We've got the total. Total's been in flux right now. It opened at 148.5. 60% of the bets, but 87% of the cash on the under. Big opportunity for this under. And I believe this is the move. We're now 150.5. The reason I think this is going up because you look at these teams kind of if you look at them in a silo, you look at what's going on with these teams. yeah, they can tend to be a little bit more on the over trend with these spots. But with these particular situations, Lindenwood overall, they're a 5-10 situation on the road to the under. They do play a little bit more of a pace game at home, but they're still 4-5 to the under at home. That's a team that just is 9-15 to the under. Tennessee Martin, 9-14 to the under. And the big number I've got for you, Guy, I heard our boy chime in here. In the rematch spot in the Ohio Valley, now there's multiple games that fit this equation tonight. This one just met more of the criteria for me. So if you're an Ohio Valley fan, you got plenty of opportunities with Tennessee Tech. There's also, I want to say, there's a couple more I didn't write down. That being said, though, 5-25 to the under. 30 times the Ohio Valley has played in a rematch spot. 5-25 to the under. It's been going under by 7 points. The average total we're seeing is around 144. So while this one's priced a little bit higher, it's been inflated, I believe, because of some people trying to fade or catch that falling knife. So I'm jumping in Tennessee Martin under 150.5. The Ohio Valley unders in rematch spots, 5-25 to the under. These two teams are under teams as well. So we're going to roll. Shout out to our guy, Director 97. Big question. What do I do with Santa Clara? Well, let's get into this college basketball card. That'll put the old bow on my college hoops plays here. But I know our guy, Miggin and Max here. He's ready to roll. And we're looking forward to having him guide us through his plays here with college basketball tonight. We'll even talk a little NBA. I know we're both kind of in the same spot. I don't want to put words in your mouth, C-Mac, but the first game back from the All-Star break. Everybody relax, right? Let's go.
Yeah, shout out to the chat. Shout out to Director 97, the guy with the donut. Let's go back to that game, Mike. I mean, you always want my action. We need it for the goddamn shit here. I like to know your fucking action so we can talk about it. Like I wrote you. I love that under in UT Martin, Lindenwood. I've been on a ton of UT Martin unders. This team, they're just pricing it a little bit too high still. And I know they just went over with Moorhead, but I don't buy it. Same thing with Lindenwood. This is a team that's in the 130s, their total. So now they're jacking this. Both would need unbelievable shooting night, and I love it too. And I haven't put this in, but I'm betting it as well. I love it.
And not just if you look at the teams as a whole with their unders, but then you look at that little rematch angle that kind of just puts the cherry on top. Like when these two teams come back against each other, they play to the under. So there's been a little movement to the over as of late, and I can't figure that out. I can't make heads or tails of it. So I gotta lean with my numbers here, and I gotta go with these boys to get the job done. So what about that SMU FAU game? That was another one that I jumped in on FAU with -6.5. Did you have any thoughts there?
On that last one, the defense is bad for Martin, but I mean Lindenwood, they can't hit nothing. This team can't make fucking shots anywhere. Sorry, I just want agreeing you with that with the look. I'm going to be off that. I'm off that game. I think it's a great bounce back spot for FAU. It was one just I was going back and forth. SMU's playing some better basketball as of late, and they do have the better defense. Can that travel here on the road? Yeah, and it's kind of FAU got hot. I think they beat Arizona. Obviously they had the big run last year in the tournament, had a few big wins, kind of coasting, obviously, the conference that they're in. But it seems like a good spot for them. I just, it's now at 7. I just had to be off. This is a game I wanted to look live, maybe. I just had nothing really.
Yeah, I love the angle with the comeback home situation. I mean, there's 2 games that I have circled on the college basketball card tonight that I think are going to be spectacular. I think that's a big one right there between these two teams battling for second place in the conference, trying to hold hope that they can get to the top of the chain there, which probably isn't going to happen. But nonetheless, neither one of these two wants to let up. They're right there. They're right in the hunt, and they want that 2 seed. There's another game that we'll talk about. I didn't put it on the calendar, on the docket here, but we can certainly talk about that one as well. It's a little bit of a later start, but let's look at this first game we've got here. It's 7:00 Eastern. That's about to pop off. We've got Elon and Northeastern with a line that's been moving in the Northeastern direction. We have 55% of the bets and 54% of the cash on Northeastern. 7.5s, now 9.5s and 10s out there. 145.5 was the total. Seems to be dropping. We have 70% of the bets on the under, but we're seeing some buyback now with this 143 that's starting to move it to the over. 60% of the bets on the over, C-Mac. Elon Phoenix at 12-15. The Northeastern Huskies 10-17. Northeastern's been one of those teams that I've been making some cash off of fading, but they are 3-1 against the spread in their last 4. Elon on the other side of things has gotten back-to-back covers as well. Talk to us about this game.
Yeah, I mean, I like these last couple games against some pretty good opponents for them at home, Delaware, and then at home, UNC here, Wilmington. And it's hard to trust Elon here, Mikey. This is hit 10. I don't trust this Northeastern team at all. And they're laying now double digits. I don't buy it. I get they're at home. We already saw this first matchup, Elon at home lose by 12 to Northeastern. I think people see a lot of that coming, here. But these teams are about the same. I mean, this is I'm shocked this number is that big. And Northeastern's played a little bit better, you talked about, as of late. But they just went on the road and did what they do and just lost by 20 after some good wins against Monmouth and Charleston. It's just too many points. So I got 10 here. I took Elon. Nothing on the total. This could get over. I think it's about right where it should be here. So, but give me the points with Elon. All right.
Yeah, I mean,
close my eyes.
Talk about
Take it.
Both these teams being about equal. Yeah, they're both 5-9 in the conference, and I mean, you're a double-digit dog in a spot that could essentially be a coin flip. Why? Because you got home court advantage. That doesn't wear enough for me. I could see 10.5s out there now too. I might have to jump in and tell you on that.
And through the numbers, like field goal percentage, all this bullshit is pretty normal. Elon's a better team from 3. Northeastern a little bit better free throws. I think it's 75-71. I just think it's too big. I don't think this team that's 10-17 on the year should be laying 10 points, even against an Elon. So give me the 10.
Gotcha. Locked and loaded.
Let's
keep rolling. I love the number. I think that's a lot. That's a lot of points. I don't know how I looked at all these games. I don't know how that one didn't make my radar, but I love the spot there. I'm going to go with our next game here. We've got Morehead State in Western Illinois here. That's the next game you've got on the card. Let me roll on down to this one. Love that you split the window up a little bit for us here. This one is, what is that, an 8 o'clock start?
8:30.
8:30. Let me get to it. So many games to scroll through. I got to change the lighting.
Yeah, shit ton of games here.
Between all 3 cards, they couldn't work in concert to try to come up with a way to make it easier for us. But that's okay. That's okay. We want to get that cash. We'll take it where we can. And we've got Morehead State opens as a 4.5-point road favorite. 78% of the bets, 80% of the cash on the home dog, and yet it's moved a point to plus 5.5. 8:30 Eastern. We've got this total kind of moving up the board. 60. We got reverse line movement, I think, on both these spots. 67% of the bets, 83% of the cash on the under, yet it's moved up to 129.5. This definitely has the feel of a little reverse line movement. Is this an Ohio Valley under spot here, C-Mac? I don't know. Take it away.
Shout out to the chat, everyone in here. 101 Benny, Kong's Clips, Director 97, Brian Watson, Ian, my dude, Real Deal, Prime, the Grinder, Director 97. As always with the Dono, Kelly, Ron Crawford, Spreadsheet Play of the Day, Northern Kentucky. I look at that a lot. They've been very good at home and better of late as Northern Kentucky. But shout out to everyone. Jay Stone. Shout out to everyone in green. Coin. Jay Peasy. Rocco Rogers. Always the regulars in here. Dan Kelly. What's up, my man? You know what? This hasn't reversed. I just don't buy it, Mike. I have to be on the under here. Western Illinois. I have to be on it. This team just one of the slowest in the country. 6-17 to the under. They drag games to get to 60. You know what I mean? And they have to do that here. They can't get up and down. And Morehead on the flip side, not a crazy team that gets up and down. They play excellent defense. They've been a little bit off as of late. Losers of 3 straight. They just have not been good. They lost at UT Martin, and it's been kind of defensively. They lost at Little Rock 2-1, 69-68. That game stayed under. I had that under as well. It's just Western's going to drag this. The pace is so slow. They're not a team that can get out and gun, get out and shoot it. I had to take – I disagree. Once I saw the 129.5, I was really hoping for a 130. I'm on the under here.
I like it. I like to. I'll tell you what, you spot on. I love when you break these games down because we look at a lot of these kind of similar schools, and you can find a way to pull the angle that I just didn't jump onto here. And you're right on. I mean, you look at this Western Illinois team. They scored 68. They held the opponent to 61. 62-55, 62-59, 63-60, 76-55.
Good defense. If they shoot it well, I can live with it. It's just going to be slow. Really great defense. Yeah, totally love it, Mikey.
And that frustrates your opponent to the nth degree. So I think that's a terrific look as well. That one, I kind of like Western Illinois with the points in that spot.
So do I.
I get that.
So do I. I like that though. Mm-hmm.
I think that's a good opportunity to jump in there and get maybe a little double dipper here as we progress through the evening. Let's close up this college basketball card. I got one more I want to talk about as well, but we've got some NBA that's going to start at 7, so I want to make sure we get to that and give everybody
let's hit it quick.
The insight here. The next game you've got on the card is Little Rock, Southeast Missouri. I know some of the chat was talking about this game as well. Very excited to hear your looks at this one. This opens at -8. Kind of a little bit of a frozen line here. 56% of the bets, 47% of the cash on the road favorite in Arkansas Little Rock. The total, kind of a similar spot. 149.5 is pretty much sitting there. There's a couple 150s out there. We have 63% of the bets on the over, 66% of the cash on the under CMAC. And this is going to be a nice little banger. 8 p.m. Eastern start, 16-11 Little Rock, 8-19 Southeast Missouri State. Do the Red Hawks have a chance to take down them Trojans tonight, C-Mac? Lay it on us.
Robert Franklin. Was it the futon bets? I like it. Yeah, under 61.5. I like it. There, Brian Smith, Cab, as always. Nasty Nate. Dude, can't wait to see him in San Antonio in a few weeks. This first matchup, Little Rock, a team that I've loved to bet on this year, and they've been pretty good against the number, 15-12. They're 16-11 on the year. They won 66-61. Now, they didn't shoot the ball well. They did from 2. You did that wrong, but from 3, they were only 1 of 9. They ended up winning by 5. This is a little dangerous here. This team's not very good in SEMO, Mikey. They're 0-13 away from the house, from the crib. But they're 8-5 at home, and they've kept some games close. They've had a few blowouts, a couple during the year, but for the most part, they've been good at home, and I think they keep this game close. In a series, you talked about the 5-point loss earlier. Just last year, they beat them a couple times. Good old SEMO. I think they can hang around. The shots need to drop here for SEMO. It has to happen. My guy on this team, one of their better players, has got to get rolling. Bell, some of these guys, Ward needs to do something. So I took the 8 with SEMO. It's ugly, but I took it.
I'll tell you what, this has the makings of one of those spots that I love here. They got 3 losses in a row, back-to-back road losses, coming back to home.
Yep.
And you got an Arkansas Little Rock team that's been, running and gunning their
cruising
cash in here. This is that overinflated Little Rock spot where you can buy low on Southeast Missouri, and we know that it's hard. You got to be an exceptionally bad college basketball team to go off and lose, 4 or 5 games in a row. And as much as that is, there's a lot of parity in the conference regardless. So kind of like that Southeast Missouri spot there as well. I love that.
It's ugly. Yeah, it's ugly. I wanted to look at it here too. We're starting to see 6.5. I like to see that. I got the 8. We're seeing 6.5. So I love that. Here, yeah.
Especially, I just talked about this last night with one of the games. 165.5. I got it. Moved to 166 at the show. I had the over. It goes to 166 on the final. Like, you gotta love that CLV when you can get it. We don't talk about it a lot.
Yeah.
But, there's one game I want to circle back to with college basketball, but it's a later start. So, in my opinion, I think it's going to be a run and gunner. But I want to get your opinion on it. But I got 3 NBA games here that I want to get into real quick. I know it's a full slate. I've got 3 games and I've got a parlay. So, in all fairness, not going to be cheating anybody of any action tonight here. But it's the first game back from the All-Star break. These fucking guys are hard enough to figure out when they're going to play, let alone what they're going to do coming back from Mexico or Cancun or fucking Alaska or wherever else they were on their All-Star break. But 7 p.m. Eastern pops off. I've got 2 of them I like in the 7 o'clock window. We've got the Magic and the Cavs. This line opened at 7.5. 57% of the bets, but only 42% of the tickets on the Orlando Magic. It's dropped. It's dropped several points now, if I'm not mistaken here. Yeah, I mean,
holy, Shit.
Yeah, we're down to 5s now. This fucking thing was 7.5 not an hour ago, and it's down to 5 in this spot.
What's the news here? Sorry to hit you up, Mike. What's the news? Because the totals got dropped too. Is there any news in this game? I know Banchero was sick, but they said he's going to play.
Donovan Mitchell's out. Donovan Mitchell, Tristan Thompson, and Ty Jerome. So I know our boys.
All right, there we go. Okay.
I'm on the Magic in this spot for me. I pulled in the Magic here. I know the totals dropped a little as well. So line movement be damned here. The fact that it's a 5 is still good money for me. And this one just comes down to the rest factor. You know, the Cavaliers overachieved with their injury factors. They adjusted well like nobody else to go out there and win games like crazy. Like in the middle of December when everyone was like, everybody's out. They were still finding a way to win games. But in this spot here, it's a rest factor. The Cavaliers, 7 days of rest coming into tonight. 0-7 against the spread, 1-6 overall when they've got 4 or more days rest, or it's a season opening spot. So they do not play well with the rest situation. Now you take Mitchell out of the lineup and it's a 5. I jumped in there. I thought, give me those points in the back pocket. Orlando was a team that kind of faded before the All-Star break, but especially with the Mitchell factor in there now, knowing how Cavs come in rusty, I just thought overachieved in that mid stretch there where they should have been losing. I'm going to try to fade that angle here and jump on this Orlando Magic team. What do you think?
Yeah, I like to see it, and I love how the Cavs played, especially before the break. Winners of 9 of 10 there. Yeah. And one thing, these are two. I already made this a bet. I took the under 218. Two of my favorite under teams here in this. I even like that Mitchell is out. Orlando. We know all their good players. I was talking about Banchero being sick. Started scuffle a little bit, but they weren't bad. I mean, they went 7-3 down the stretch. I thought it was too many points, so I'm on the under 218. I took the 8.5. I don't know about an out 5.5. I do think the game's close, but my favorite under teams here, I had to take it, Mikey. Under.
Love it. We'll take it, run with that one. Game number 2 at 7:00 that I jumped in on here. I got to go back to them. They're my boys here, the Philadelphia 76ers. I know there's no Embiid, but there's nobody playing for the New York Knicks here. This line, 70% of the bets and 63% of the cash on the Knicks. We haven't seen any movement, right? So we're still sitting right around the same number. The money line, 61% of the bets, only 49% of the cash on this even money Knicks spot. Zero movement there either. In fact, we got this minus 115 now on the money line for the Philadelphia 76ers. The total opens at 226.5, 37% of the bets, but 70% of the cash. Big money came in on this under. We saw this thing. It's moved up. It's moved up from 226.5 to 228s and 228.5. So big money be damned. There seems to be the general public perception that this is going to be a score game with the Knicks coming away to get the job done. And I'm in full disagreement here. No Randall, no Anunoby, no Mitchell Robinson. And we know Embiid's the big factor on the other side. Robert Covington, DeAndre Melton. I get it. Those guys are definitely some factors. But road favorites are small dogs who are faves on average this season are 1-24 in those spots if they won the previous 2 games by less than a bucket or lost to them as dogs. So when you're struggling to hang on and they're moving you in as a small road favorite or a small dog, when they're overvaluing your wins, in my opinion, against your talent, you're losing. You're 1-24, and you're getting smoked by 9 points a game against the number in those spots. So I jumped in. I had to take the Sixers money line here. I think that you can discount the Embiid. I know Embiid's a big factor, C-Mac, but discount his injury and status. He's been out for a minute now. They're making some adjustments, and there's just too many guys out of this Knicks lineup for them to be competitive.
Yeah, they do have a lot out, and they were a team. When that hot streak had won like 11 of 12, scoring like right around 115, I think average, maybe even a little more than that. And then they got the injuries got to them where they just dropped like the last 4 before the break, barely breaking 100 in any of those. I lean to the Sixers. I don't love it though. Mikey, this was one of the games that come back that's like, I want off, but I get where you're looking at with all the injuries out with the Knicks. I'd be on the Sixers if I had a free bet, and I didn't want anything to do with the total. I didn't see an advantage anywhere. That Sixers were kind of playing to the over a bit of late with no Embiid, but I just had to pass.
Yeah, I thought, you know what? I just think it's the better team. There's more depth in this team. They're not in flux as
At
much from the
home.
trade deadline. Right, at home. And they're one of the best road or home teams in the NBA. So enough for me to say, hey, if we're basically giving these two teams a coin flip, I think.
Did you look at props and anything here with the,
I really
Maxey, Heald, Oubre, nothing?
I was telling T before the show started that I had a free daily fantasy DFS ticket that I put together. So I went with Maxey and I forgot who the other guy was at the last minute, but I thought it was a Maxey game here today. At least to be able to go out there and get it, maybe even the double. But I really didn't spend a lot of time just because of the nature of this huge card today. I didn't spend a lot of time looking at some props. What do you think?
No, I thought that'd be one of those guys. I was just looking at even maybe an Oubre over 11.5, 12.5 points. I was just kind of glancing through it here in the last hour or two, but I didn't make a move.
I mean, the Josh Hart double is something that's kind of, as I look through some of the radar here, he's got a double in 4 of the Knicks' last 6 games out there. So the guy's definitely no.
He missed it for us a few weeks ago, but I got him back in. Yeah, he hit like 3 in a row there. So shout out to Josh Hart.
Plus 325 for a Josh Hart spot there isn't too bad if anybody's looking to get involved with that one either. So
if he's going to get the points are always maybe a problem. It's been a few times, but if he gets, like I talked about, the 35 minutes, he gets that, which he should. I like it.
And who the hell's going to play? I mean, he's got to go out there and do it all himself anyway. So I don't know. Let's go. We've got one last game for the NBA today. Then I've got a parlay for you guys as well. So we're not devoid of opportunities. This third game on the radar is this Washington Wizards game. And shout out to one Ron Crawford. Spreadsheet play of the day is this Wizards team. We've got this Wizards spot. Where are they? Opening up 9 p.m. Eastern. Wizards open as 16.5-point road dogs to this Denver Nuggets team. 47% of the bets and 49% of the cash, yet it's moved down 1.5. We got 15s now out there, and we're seeing the total creep up from 229.5, 3 points up to 232.5, 63% of the bets, essentially 50-50 on the cash, though, as far as the total is concerned. And the books have shown a little bit of concern there, saying that this thing goes on the over trend here. And that was for me. That was the number. I'm jumping on the total. I think we see points in this game. Wizards are 8-0 to the over when they're more than a 13-point favorite. So they score. You know, I said this before. I put the buy sign on the Wizards about 2 weeks ago. I even gave the 10-day warning where the Wizards were going to get the buy sign, and they started pulling it back together. But, obviously coming out of the All-Star break, a lot of things can happen here. They're scoring on average. They're allowing 138.9 points a game in the 8 games that they are in a spot where they were 13 or bigger dogs. So they're getting gunned, but they're running with them as well. And I think they're in a spot where they can get the job done here. So 8-0 to the over, going back to 2019 as more than a 13-point dog for this Washington Wizards team here. I love the points on the side too. I think the dog to me correlates with that over. I think the two kind of mismatch perfectly. There still looks like, let me see if there's any 232s or if it's got to be 232.5 C-Mac. Well, I kind of dig into that thing. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I didn't have a move on this. What do we get from Denver at home off the break? Excellent team. We know they're 36-19, but basically just the flip against the number all year long. And one thing, I do think they're good defensively. How much do we get? What do we get here this game tonight? Kind of hold down. If they want to, they could just get up and down, and this does go over. If they're locked in, this game could stay under, because I talk about how well Denver is efficient on offense, but really one of the better defensive teams all year long. So yeah, this is not one I want to be involved with, but that's a shit ton of points. I don't blame you for looking around. And Wizards for overs for me have been pretty good. I haven't bet a ton of them this year, but I bet 3 or 4. So get that cash.
Zane Cole says took the Maxey over 2.5 threes and Oubre over 1.5 threes parlay at plus 250. Nice work, Zane. That's I'll be rooting you on for that one because of my Maxey spot in there. Kong Clips says Marvin Bagley double at plus 290 made Kong's Clips card. Justin McElvey says Wizards plus 15.5 on his card. And look at this name here. Here's a new one I haven't seen. I like it. If it ain't foreign, it's boring. No action on the 7 p.m. Eastern games, but shout out to your name, my guy. That's a fun little guy there. So Appreciate you dropping in, guys. Hit that thumbs up for us if you haven't done so already. C-Mac, I'm going to drop this parlay out there, and then anything you want to talk about NBA-wise, I have one more college basketball spot that I want to circle back to here. But look, another three-legger. I gave you guys the three-legger in the NHL today. Spots I didn't want to drop the puck lines on. Yeah, go ahead. Spots I didn't want to drop the puck lines on, but spots that I thought, here we go. These teams should get the job done. I feel much about the same with this three-legger in the NBA. The Suns, the Pelicans, and the Jazz. And look, the Suns are the Suns, right? I don't want to be selfish in that spot here. The only challenge that concerns me about the Suns is they do have a propensity to shit the bed in this spot here. The Suns are 1-19 as a dog versus a team with a winning percentage of 43% or better if either team has multiple days rest. So we know that's the situation in this case here. They're losing those games by 10 points, but I'm not asking them to cover spreads. I'm just going to put them as the little cherry on top to beef this parlay up because the other two legs I am very fond of with this thing here. I was almost going to go with a two-legger, but to get to plus 230, I thought the juice was worth the squeeze, as they say here. The Pelicans are 9-2 against the spread at home versus a team off a loss this season, and they're covering the spread by 9 points a game in those numbers there. So the Pelicans should kick the shit out of them boys there and get this job done. They're laying a 7. I'm not mad. The Pelicans at 7 almost made my card. I just wanted to be a little cautious coming in off the All-Star break. The Rockets are 0-11 against the spread as a dog on the road versus the West if they're on an ATS losing streak as well. So you kind of have that intersection point, and they're losing the spread by 8. So the Pelicans are winning the spread by 9. The Rockets are losing the spread by 8. This should be a spot to navigate those Pelicans. I'm just going to go a little cautious because we're coming back from the All-Star break. And then I got the Jazz. 13-1 against the spread if both teams have rest and the total is less than 240.5. We know the Jazz at home have been ferocious here. 13-1 against the spread. They're covering the spread by 9.5 points as well. That's my three-legger. The Suns, the Pelicans, and the Jazz. I want to have some fun with the NBA. I'm excited it's back like everybody else. And I thought 230, good opportunity to forego those points and try to get a whack with this three-legger. C-Mac, we're going parlay shopping today, baby.
I like the Pelicans. I didn't move on it. You're kind of like, that's why you're putting it in the parlay. We know how good they've been for everyone and all better, especially early. They look first quarter, especially first half, have just been money. So I get that look. And the Rockets, just the troubles on the road. Little better ATS, but just awful road record. I forget what they are, 5-21. I forget what it was. It's not very good. It's just been trouble for them to win on the road. I had one more I'll hit here before we get to the last college NBA game that I like. A good one. We have a few good ones. The late night, the Warriors-Lakers. I didn't really mess with that. I think the Warriors get the win. It's kind of stretched out there. But I do like some D'Angelo Russell, no LeBron James. I'd look to his props, hit on that. I'd go with his points and assists. But I think here, give me the Thunder. Just to win at home against the Clippers team that's been playing great. Both these teams pretty rested here after the break, come in. Oklahoma City, these teams have just kind of traded wins. Any team at home the last couple of years. I want the younger, hungrier team in the Thunder. So give me the Thunder just to win at home.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'm glad you said that because I was very close to that one. And I'll tell you, the Thunder, this is the rematch spot here. The Thunder are 9-1 against the spread. They're covering the spread by 8.5 points at home versus a team they lost to the last meeting. So when they're home in the revenge spot, they're 9-1 against the spread. I love the value there. The over, they're also 7-1-2 to the over. The Clippers are 12-0 to the over, going over by 17 points a game as road dogs versus a team they were favorites against the last meeting as well. So potential opportunity to jump in on that over there. I like that OKC spot. I think I'm gonna get along to adding that to the card. I like that look a lot. I'm glad to hear you say that.
A lot of love. A Clippers playing well before, trying to get their shit together. We know who they are. It's just basically Thunder got a win here. I think they can. We all know how good SGA is. Dort, Giddey, Holmgren, Williams. Give me the Thunder. Thunder up.
I feel like when you look at now, we'll see. This is just a theory, right? But when it comes to getting out of the All-Star break, you got to figure those teams that got into rhythm, like the Clippers, like we saw in Cleveland, they're on that break. Things kind of cool off a little bit, and it doesn't mean they're not going to get back there. I just kind of feel like they're going to be a step off trying to catch back up to where they should be. And I love that spot, like you said there, the Clippers coming in off that break, and maybe an opportunity to get the job done. Kelly V likes the under for Paul George points, rebounds, and assists for plus money on the Clippers there from our girl Kelly V. And
Nice.
yeah, I think there's a lot of fun with that game there. So I think that's going to get to the card for me. I was just trying to see if there was anything, the Paul George spot there from an assist perspective. He's got 4 more assists in 10 of his last games against his former team. So the revenge angle runs true for Paul George with the assist category at plus 116. Sounds like I might be in the making of a same game parlay for that thing. We'll see how the evening advances here. C-Mac, the last game I wanted to pick your brain on in college hoops here. Kind of an interesting spot. It's definitely a revenge rematch type of situation here, but I thought this might be a little run and gunner. It's a late nighter. Let me pull it up. Let me find it. We did this the other night, and we talked about, I think it was this very team, and I want to roll back to them because I made some cash on them the other night. And I think we have an opportunity to get that cash tonight. We've got Portland State on the road against Montana State. And we talked about these state teams, Montana State, Portland State, their proficiency at home and maybe how it dissipates on the road. But we have 62% of the bets and 63% of the cash on Montana State, yet the line's not moving. And if anything, the money line's going down. We've got 146.5 on the totals, moved up to 147.5, so 148s, 53% of the bets and 61% of the cash on the under, and yet it's going to the over. And I thought Portland State, look, I talked about this earlier. There's some teams that play well in rematch spots or revenge spots, and there's teams that don't. And Montana State falls under one of those teams that shits the bed when they're in the revenge spot out there. I love the points. I love the reverse line movement or the frozen situation out there. I took Portland State on the road at the 2.5. What did you think?
Yeah, this one was tricky. Portland State in conference hasn't been good on the road. Montana State, I remember they had that big win against Eastern Washington at home. Then they just lay a egg, a game they should win against Idaho at home. Then they hit the tough road trip, Northern Colorado, Northern Arizona, Montana, and just lose, kind of get beat up in 3 straight. So, I know they're getting 2.5. I hope you can get it. I couldn't bet. I couldn't put my money on it, on Portland State. Even though I think right now, the way these teams are playing, they could be in this game, even win it. I had to pass. I
had an intersection point for these two teams. I was just trying to pull it back up. Bad revenge teams are sitting at a 5 and 10 spot with an average line at -3.5. I'm sorry, they're losing against the line at -3.5. They're losing the game by 3.5 points against the spread. So on average, we're seeing these games where they lose outright, 78-72. There's that 3.5 with the 2.5 points of 6 points, 78-72. Also, and I was saying this on Jimmy's show earlier today, the reason I love these mid-major schools has a lot to do with the advantage we have versus the books having to put numbers out there. And you can quantify that. If you look at favorites in conference play of the Big Sky and the Southland conferences, right? Talk about mid-major USA here, Big Sky and Southland conferences. When the favorite's less than a -10, they're 18 and 38 against the spread in those spots. The average line is -5, and they're finding 1-point wins. So it's really 18 and 38 spread spot, but there's been a number of teams where the dog has come through and shined. And I love those situations with these mid-major programs. These two conferences ring true. It's kind of that intersection point. You got a bad revenge team in Montana State, and you got a shit spot where they're a favorite against the conference. All those signs pointed to Portland State for me. I got him at +3 earlier. It's +2.5. I'm going to make that an official play for me on the card.
Get it. Shout out to everyone. Ziggy Balls. What's going on? He had some plays in here. I don't know if you hit up. Like he has the Pistons, Magic, Nets +2, Avalanche, Red Wings over 6.5, and the Lightning on the puck line. Brian Watson, North Ender. Shout out to all you guys. Yeah, hit up your last second plays. We're our guy, Director 97. Let's hit it, Mayor Mike. You have anything on this Loyola Marymount Santa Clara game? A team in Loyola Marymount's just going through some rough times, some bad losses. Have they kind of given up? And can Santa Clara cover this big number, 9.5?
I really didn't. That one, as many games as I looked at today, it wasn't a spot that I wanted to get involved with here. I would have I mean, as I look at the numbers overall here, you've got kind of that frozen line movement, right? 53% of the bets, 63% of the cash on Santa Clara, yet it's sitting at 9.5. And so kind of that's a big red flag. I mean, that's a lot of points that they're going to have to come out there and cover. I got that they're off of back-to-back wins, but they weren't playing stellar before that. San Fran 71-70 loss. They did cover, but they were getting 8.5 points. So they're kind of the gap. They're kind of the guardian between the upper echelon and the lower echelon of the conference. And Loyola Marymount's not doing great. They're struggling out there, but I've seen some wacky things happen. I mean, this team's got to win by 12, 13 points to cover this number against Loyola Marymount there. I would take the points in my back pocket.
Yeah, right now I can't trust Loyola. They've just been so bad as of late. And I think Santa Clara gets the win. 10 points here.
It's a lot of points.
I don't know if they can get that cover. Yeah.
That's a big ask to get them boys to get that cover in a spot where they could frankly be.
They have some bad injuries. Yeah. Loyola going through some tough times. It was that last cover against St. Mary's. I think they lost by 5. I had that game. I haven't touched them, I don't think, since. And it's been rough. Barely suiting enough to play here at times.
Yeah, I just like I said, that one didn't make the dashboard for me. Of all the plays that I had laid out there tonight, I just thought there's a lot of unknown. Now, that being said, as we get later in the evening and cocktails get flying, that may change. But I mean, that's right in the window of a couple cocktails deep. Let's take a look at what's on the cards. That's
one where if you don't want to lay it, maybe look, because so bad lately, Loyola's given up a bunch of points. Maybe go with the team total of Santa Clara, if you want to lay the 10. And I think it's probably high 70s here.
You know what? That's a good way to attack it. Let me see what we got for a number on that. That's a creative way to get that cash. Let's see. Looks like Santa Clara's 78.5, give or take.
Yeah, as long as it's under 8, because they've been giving up points galore. They have nobody to play. I mean, 82, San Francisco 91 to Gonzaga. Pepperdine, really not that great of an offense, 72. San Diego got 79. So, yeah, I guess I'd lean a little bit to that team total over. If you can get 77.5, 78.
Yeah, I just wrote that one down. I might have to keep an eye on that. Coin's got some action out there in his pocket. He likes the Detroit money line. St. Louis under 6.5. I like that one, Coin. Vancouver,
nice. Money
line in the NHL. Old Dominion under 142. North Colorado over 147. St. Thomas money line. Charleston money line. I'm on that Charleston spot there. Tennessee Tech over 138. Sacred Heart over 156. And Northwestern under 138.5. That's a card there from our guy, Coin.
Nice.
Let's go, Coin. Get your cash, my guy. And Subhuman Gotcha says Capitals and Sens with early goals. Well, that's when I got to put the bow on the show. I got to get out there and watch these games without seeing the scoring update from the chat, you guys. So, CMAC, always a pleasure to have you, my guy, on Thursdays. We appreciate your insight. Can't wait to see this. We're getting closer to conference and tournament play in college basketball. The NBA is going to be nice and mature for us by then. I'm looking forward to firing away with you on Thursdays going forward. Tell them what you got going on. I know Saturday, big afternoon show. We've had a lot of fun and a lot of success on the Saturday shows. Tell them what's cooking.
Yeah, Saturdays, you gotta be there. It's always a great time. A good, 2.5 hours. The early college basketball, and then we'll hit it up. You gotta get Mikey in there, talk some NHL, as I always love. Everything else, the NBA is back, so I can't wait. And we got to get on our Saturday morning game here. This is always my Thursday look here, Mikey.
Thursday
Notre Dame, Syracuse. Here we go. Indiana, Penn State. Oh, here we go. Houston, Baylor. What are we talking about?
Oh,
there
yeah.
we go.
Oh,
come on. It's over. That's it. See you Saturday. Houston, Baylor. Always great. Thursdays have been an excellent year. I always love coming on with you. I love the Thursday card. College basketball Thursdays have been really good here as well, Mikey. Yeah. We've been killing it. So thanks for having me as always, and I'll see you Saturday, my friend. Appreciate it.
Sounds great, CMAC. Thank you much. Good luck with your action tonight. Appreciate everybody rocking with us here, guys. On your way out the door, smash that thumbs up for us. Pub Sports Radio. Shout out to the crew and Jeff Slaughter. If you guys haven't done so already, subscribe to the channel. Turn the notifications on when we go live. all the streams, all the live betting streams, all of the shows that are rocking throughout the Pub Sports universe. You will get notified and have the opportunity to get out there, hear a little bit, maybe learn a little bit, and cash a little bit as well. Appreciate everybody rocking with us tonight. Coin, Subhuman, Gaucho, Brian Watson, Director 97, Kelly V, Lexicon. Appreciate everybody hanging out. Ziggy Balls showed up in the house here. Kong's Clips, of course. And looking forward to doing it again. Markel, Tone, Miggins, everybody showed up. Dan Kelly, my guy, in the house tonight. If it ain't foreign, it's boring. It's going to wrap it up for us tonight, you guys. I'll see you back here tomorrow. Shout out to our guy, T, holding it tight there, getting it right on the ones and the twos. And you guys know the deal here. We'll see you back 6 p.m. Eastern. Last call. You guys, good luck with your bets and stay cashing. We be pumping. See you, Mac.
We be pumping.